Don't get mad at me for this, okay? This is a real thing that I'm describing, I promise. I love this movie. I think a 7 might be too low, actually. Like, I really, really enjoyed it. This marriage ain't big enough for the both of them. Life seems easy for picture-perfect couple, Ivy and Theo, successful careers, a loving marriage, great kids. But beneath the facade of their supposed ideal life, a storm is brewing as Theo's career nosedives while Ivy's own ambitions take off. A tinderbox of fierce competition and hidden resentment ignites. This is a really good examination of toxic relationships, I think. It's particularly straight ones, but I think that there is universality in the themes explored here. I say that, but it is also a very specific critique of normative heterosexuality and monogamy as well. And it creates a very interesting dichotomy and premise, because I think, like, sort of historically, the idea, because of patriarchy, the idea is that, like, the woman is like the shrew and like the kind of like spoiler of relationships, and like is the one that needs to work on herself, and like the man just needs to, like, he doesn't have to do any work, right? He's just like, he's the man, he does all the work, he puts food on the table, so like fucking leave him alone or whatever, right? And then I think, don't get mad at me for this, okay? This is a real thing that I'm describing, I promise. But like, I think we've gone culturally in certain spaces. I think that there is a little bit of an idea out there that like women are like perfect and like men are just like complete trash, and like there is a sort of false binary being set up the other way, where I think people are overcorrecting a bit, and there's like not a lot of nuance in that discussion. It's like feminism for people who don't really understand feminism. Sort of, there's definitely a streak of misandry in like modern culture, and maybe that's just my own biases. I want to be perfectly crystal fucking clear, right? I'm not saying that like we're now like wokeness has gone too far and we're now in like a goddamn fucking matriarchy or something. The patriarchy is very, very real, and like in terms of systemic injustice, it's still not close, right? But in terms of cultural discussion, and at least in the circles that I see online, there's definitely a vibe where like men are like treated as like inherently unsafe, or like inherently like there's something wrong with them. And I think that that leads to a lot of transphobia, specifically transmisogyny. But you know, people like don't like to think about the fact that when they're saying that, they are including trans men, and then a lot of people will say like, oh, fuck all men except for trans men. I'm like, what do you think you're doing with that, right? Like, come on, man. um let's be real about that for a second. But I think it is, I don't know, I'm on a tangent, but it's like very bioessentialist, this sort of idea. And I think that this film explores the nuances of that discussion really, really well. These are both very complex, toxic characters that have a lot of flaws either way. And I think that the way that the film is set up, there is a temptation to just say, fuck Benedict Cumberbatch, he's a piece of shit. She needs to leave him, she can do better. But she has a lot of flaws herself that are like maybe a little less overt. And what's interesting is that like he clearly wants to be like a good guy. Like that's part of his goal in like his life, right? Is that he wants to be a nice guy, right? He like is telling himself over and over again, don't be a piece of shit. Like you can be like the person raising the kids. You don't have to be the breadwinner. Like be decent about this. But he like can't do it. Like there's so much patriarchy and misogyny and toxic masculinity like ingrained in him that he can't overcome. And so I think that there's a lot of really interesting ideas being explored here. And also the film is really funny. This is the one that has a Napalm Death song in it. God, I love the cinematography and the production design in this film so much. And like it's just a rom-com, right? Like you don't have to go that hard with those elements. Like a lot of those movies you know, are very formulaic and and all that. But this is one that has a very artistic touch to it. And Benedict Cumberbatch, what a fucking great actor, dude. He's great. Olivia Colman is great in this. Kate McKinnon and Andy Samberg are both very funny and have really good lines and performances in this as like sort of side characters. But yeah, big fan of this movie. I thought it was great, and I was really happy to see it in a theater. And this is the sort of thing that I feel like people would either wait for streaming or would just go straight to streaming because they wouldn't think of it as like a theatrical film. But like it is, like the way it's shot and everything, it looks great on a big screen, and like it's a real fucking movie, you know.
I'd like to take a moment to thank our accomplices, The Boogeyman's Closet, Chris Haskell, Dana Jordan Rothschild, The Disconnected, Dr. Jeff Butcher, Dustin Putman, George Strang, Ingrid Francesca, Nosferatu 1334, Possessed Washing Machine, S. Butler, and Stephen Perkins. If you'd like to be counted amongst their ranks, the link is in the description.